Yippa.
Yeah.
Hi.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Mule Barn. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm Chad. I'm going to be your host this evening.
Yay!
With me as always is going to be Mr. Joshua Hetrick.
Hi, I'm back.
Juggles Rodriguez.
Hi.
David Hara, also known as the Hillbilly. And Mr. David Lorfano. And with us in voice only will be Johnny May. How you guys doing today?
Well, I mean, since Johnny's not on video, we're all doing pretty good.
That's a semi-accurate statement.
Like
he does have a stellar beard, though.
He is killing the beard game. He is doing that.
But nobody knows because he's not really showing it. So
yeah. Although Dave, I think Dave's catching up with him over there, though.
I need to shave.
Not a chance.
Oh,
I'm not as pretty.
I'm not gonna lie. I want to shave all of this.
You're not going to find a lot of pretty in this room. I can tell you right now.
I think I'm going to throw some Kool-Aid.
Ooh, keep some mutton chops.
I'm going to throw some Kool-Aid in mine for next
Juggles,
one.
Are you just going to keep
a nice color?
You just going to keep the Dirty Sanchez or what?
That and that.
Just the mustache and what else? The soul patch?
The soul patch?
Nah.
Oh, wow. Please do it.
All of this off. There was talks at one point.
Huh? Can you do it? Do you have a battery-powered trimmer?
No, I need to get. Whoa!
I think you should do it live.
Actually,
man.
no, but I have a set of hair
Hillbilly
clippers.
stumbled onto my point. Well, I want you to do it during next week's episode.
Oh,
yeah, man, that'd be great.
Yeah.
What you should do like the mustache coming down here, and then let the beard flow up, but shave all this shit right here.
I talked about doing that at one point. I talked about doing it to go to question mark. No, fuck no, I'm not fucking Brian Wilson or whatever the fuck his name was.
Luis Guzman.
Is that the guy that did it? I was thinking of the baseball player that had the real thick beard and then he
might have done it. Yeah, it shaved it to a question mark and went around his. Yeah.
Yeah. No, fuck no. No, there was talks at one point about shaving the center here and having it connect way up here for when I went to Las Vegas or when we were going to Las Vegas for EDC.
I can tell you, I don't think you want to go to Vegas to an EDC festival with a question mark on your face. You're going to get approached by some people you don't want to get approached by.
Oh, I put money on it.
But that kind of screws the whole flavor saver when you shave this part of it, though.
Oh, it'll save just not the kind of flavor you're used to. You know what I mean?
Chad, how would you know?
It's a soft landing for that ball sack.
You can't read.
I can read.
Oh shit!
Sometimes you just can't read straight.
Yeah.
What?
That was pretty good, Juggles. Damn. Oh, okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a topic. We do have a topic for today's episode.
We don't have topics.
I approached the guys earlier this week with a topic I wanted to go over, and I want to hear these guys rant a little bit about stuff that pisses them off, or even makes them really, really happy. I just want to hear what they're passionate about, what occurs in their daily life that makes them want to rip their steering wheel off in traffic, or just genuine hills they will die on. So, who do I want to go first? I think we're gonna go with Juggles.
Oh, fuck you.
Well, going first pisses him off.
No, I'll tell you what pisses him off is being selected to go first because I know he's playing a fucking video game right now.
I'm not. I'm scrolling YouTube. Fuck you. You're wrong.
Well, that's very different, I guess.
I mean, for the most part.
But he's supporting your channel, so support ours right here on Spotify.
Yes.
So contrary to what Chad thinks I'm going to say, it's actually something entirely different.
I have no idea what you're going to say.
We semi talked about it the other day. But it is racing related, and I'm going to say that much. I hate the fact that everything is getting aero bits nowadays. Everything. Outside of motocross, everything is getting some type of aero bit for extra downforce, extra fucking this, extra that, need more air to fucking hit another surface. I fucking hate it. The MotoGP bikes are getting these fucking aero bits. World Superbikes are getting aero bits. It's fucking stupid.
Do you think it's because these sissies want to be able to do it easy? I mean, we run into that with league racing and even in iRacing. People would prefer to drive a car that's easy to drive than to actually drive something you have to have a little skill for. You think that's part of it? Juggle's not even fucking listening to me.
I'm sorry.
What are your-
A
what are-
question had to be asked of me because there's some shit going on. But
what are your thoughts on that, Juggles?
I don't know if I'm honest. Like my biggest thing is we complain so much in racing. I'll leave motorcycle racing out of it for a bit. But as far as car racing, we complain so much about aero wash and aero tight and this, that, and the other. Well, stop putting fucking downforce in these goddamn cars. Just stop it. Certain parts, okay, sure. A front splitter on a NASCAR stock car or on a GT3
Get
car.
rid of the splitter. on a
No,
stock
I'm
car.
okay with the splitter. Splitter's fine, but the rear diffusers. I don't think we need the rear diffusers, or at least
don't.
make them less efficient. If you're
yeah.
gonna make it be there, make it less efficient.
Well, I think less efficient is good. I like the idea of the diffuser. I mean, let's think about it. So what this has done is this has made it where we're not putting tape on the car anymore. And I say we're, I mean, NASCAR's, these guys aren't putting tape on the car anymore, so they're not having overheating problems at all anymore. There's plenty of airflow through the front of the car and up through the hood. The airflow that's going through is creating downforce on the car without it actually flowing over the car to do so. So you have downforce behind another car, but it lessens as you get closer. That's why they're not passing. So that's a problem. But I still like the rear diffuser, just because the way it manipulates the air exiting the rear of the car. Before you had it coming over the car, and then the air's doing all kinds of crazy shit, right? Now you have a direct stream of air coming out the back of the car. Now, as you get closer, obviously it does force some over and through the nose of the next car. That third car in line is really gonna have a hard time.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, it's that was the theory of what you're saying there, Hillbilly. But in application, it's not happening the way they thought. I don't think, because there's still, aero tight is still a big deal, just like it was in the old car. And I think, speaking to Juggles' point, and Juggles, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that it seems like every change that's made on this car, rather than that they try to make the racing better, it's all downforce related. And I think they need to take some steps to either mitigate or add mechanical grip. These cars don't have any mechanical grip,
Right.
even with a 10-inch wide tire. And it's irritating because the car has very little mechanical grip in the front, but at the same time, it's so gripped up in the rear, there's not enough horsepower to spin the tires and cause you to have to manage tire wear. And it's just, and yeah, I'm still, giving them rope on it, at least as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, they're not going to make any change because I say so, but because we're halfway through our second year with this car, they're still learning what their mistakes are. But I think if the cars could have a little bit more mechanical grip versus aero grip, it would help a lot of things, especially on short tracks.
Well, I think they could find the mechanical grip if they had, say, it's short tracks, they had 1,000 horsepower. You see what I'm saying? If they would do something drastic like that, I get it at the bigger tracks. You keep the horsepower kind of down, keep speeds down and whatnot. But
see, that's a double-edged sword, though, because if they gave it more horsepower at the bigger tracks, it would cause more off throttle time, lower the corner speeds, and there would be a hell of a lot more passing and racing.
Would it lower the? I mean, you got guys that are going to push it though. You got guys that.
But here's the thing: it allows you to separate the guys who are going to push it from the guys who won't, rather than everybody running the same top speed through the corner all the time.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, Joe. I didn't mean to hijack your rant there. Go ahead.
Right. I mean, the only, I guess, the sort of second part to this, and we can talk about it briefly when we get there. But one of the things that I think they need to absolutely stop is changing the spoiler. Just give them one spoiler and call it a fucking.
Or take the damn thing off.
I don't know about take it off. I think it's still necessary for generating usable downforce across the top of the car. But one spoiler. We didn't have 7 different fucking spoilers that I can recall growing up, at least through the Gen 4 car.
No, we had one.
We had two. Yeah, we had a different one for the restrictor plate races.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So restrictor plate, like Daytona, Talladega, I guess Atlanta at this point. That's fine. If you want to have a different one for that, cool. Everything else, just leave it as one fucking size. Just like it doesn't need to fucking change. And then to the point of talking about horsepower, I don't build engines. Johnny would probably be the one to speak on this. Dave would probably be the one to speak on this. But I don't think we can give them more horsepower unless we do something entirely drastic with the power system.
They can
Huh?
still get seven.
Dude,
I mean, the
you
base
gotta
package
spend more
on point was
horsepower out of that.
750. They can get
I wa-
850,
Josh, I wasn't
950.
done. I wasn't done. Hold on.
Yeah, shut the
Here's-
fuck up, Josh.
All right, I'll talk for once finally today. Jesus.
It'll get your
reason
turn,
that-
Josh. Don't worry.
and that was enough, asshole.
The reason that I say they'd have to do something drastic is, and again, Johnny or Dave can speak on this better than I can. With horsepower, doesn't there come fuel usage? You use more fuel to generate more horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's with NASCAR trying to be more green now, more environmentally friendly. I
Fuck
don't think
that,
we
though.
can give them 900 horsepower with that.
All right, so
Yeah.
do they want ratings and money, or do they want fucking to be more green? You know,
Yes.
I don't think they
No.
can. They can't ignore one or the other.
They
we're
can't.
not gonna
Yeah,
we're not gonna put batteries
So-
in these cars and go electric.
But-
so-
No,
Why?
that's not what
Okay.
he's saying. But you,
Why?
we can't just.
because
We
because
can't
there's
it's, a
another way
just
we
slippery,
can go.
it's a slippery slope, though. You start cutting to green now by less fuel consumption, then you're gonna
Right.
end up with fucking batteries in your car.
Well,
you might
Hillbilly,
as-
I'm going
you
to
might
tell
as
you.
well
I'm going
be-
to tell you right now. You better make peace with it because it's coming.
Yeah,
Might
it's
as well
going
be
to happen.
manufactured by Mattel. Is all I'm saying.
But my thing about it is this: so there's a major, as far as horsepower goes, there's a major racing series around the world that has done this and still have 900,000 horsepower cars. Formula One runs turbo hybrid cars. We put a turbo hybrid system in a NASCAR stock car. How's that going to work?
Hmm.
We can go back to 900,000 horsepower cars or 800, 900 horsepower cars
Mhm.
with a more efficient system.
I don't think the gap from the we'll say energy overall that's being used for a 650 horsepower car to a 900 horsepower car. I don't think that gap is as wide as you think.
No, it's not.
These
I think
650
so, yeah.
horsepower
I think the
cars
fuel
are still
injection.
using a lot of fuel, and not also like in you know what you hear from a bunch of people in the industry. They talk about, oh, we're keeping it at 650 to save money. And this 650 horsepower package costs as much, if not more, than the old package that had 900 horsepower.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
mean,
definitely possible. It's something that's been done to pander to OEMs, which to a point I understand, but at the same time, there's not an OEM out there that's not capable of making a 900 horsepower engine, and it's just it's to the
Smart.
point where it is hurting the product on the in my opinion, is hurting the product on the racetrack, and that needs to be before anything else. Honestly, that's my
So-
opinion.
you got a couple things. First of all, your horsepower doesn't only come from fuel; it comes from air and spark as well, right?
Mhm.
So you can make slight adjustments there to gain a lot of horsepower without adding too much additional fuel. Now you have to have some additional fuel, but you're talking about a little bit going from, like you said, from 650, 750 to 1,000. You're really not talking about that much more dumpage of fuel. The problem I see is that if we go towards this, the battery look of it, now we can't. First of all, they cannot do it until GM and Toyota are on board with making the Supra and the Camaro electric vehicles, like Mustang is now has an electric vehicle.
Oh no,
But
I don't.
until they do it in production, you can't do it in the real life, in the real world.
Well,
That's
even the
already done,
Mustang,
though.
Okay,
even
I'm
the
sorry, if-
Mustang that
until they
they're
do it-
racing.
In production, they can't do it on the track. is what I'm
Mach-E
saying.
is done,
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah.
I
That
feel
was
like
not,
that did
Mach-E-
not fucking sell at all.
No, because it was a joke. The first thing they did to screw up was call it a Mustang.
Yeah.
It was a Ford Escape with a battery in it. Like,
I know
call
the-
it what? If you just wanted to call it a Mach-E, that thing probably would have been a whole lot more popular.
Right.
But I
Even
honestly,
the Mach name would have even hurt it.
yeah,
I
I
don't know
mean,
about that.
with the style, with the Mustang styling that it had, probably somebody would have made that connection. But I think that was a swing and a miss. Not only because, and Juggles will tell you this, you all probably know it. Like, I have a very deep distaste for EVs. But it just
Hey,
it just on a design and a marketing standpoint, it was a swing and a miss in my opinion. And I think we're a good while away from NASCAR going full electric or anything like that. Do I think something possibly forced induction or possibly hybrid is coming. I think yes, sooner than later. But
I can
the
see a
thing
hybrid
is,
system coming.
yeah,
I
it's
think-
just but just when you have every single driver out there saying these cars don't have enough power. I remember Christopher Bell at a test on a new aero package that was asked what he thought, and he said, "I think everything that they're trying is to make up for the gutless engine that this car has in it." And that's a direct quote. Like, so it's just the car just doesn't. They made this beautiful looking race car. It's supposed to be revolutionary, and yeah, it's going to have growing pains, and then they stuck a lawnmower engine in it.
Yeah, they choked the shit out of it. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
and it's just, and here's the scary part is that this engine has about 150 more horsepower than they were gonna give it, and just if they took that car, maybe took a couple more strakes out of the diffuser because they don't need they don't need the car all sucked to the ground like that. It's what it comes down to me at least is that it takes it out of the driver's hands. There's very little that the driver can do to make up the difference.
Well, while we're on this topic, I mean, do you guys think that the success of a lot of these younger drivers today has to do with the fact that we do have this less horsepower? Because I mean, there's a lot of these. I mean, think about it. Even in our iRacing leagues, there's folks that would rather stick with a car that handles just perfect, and they get out there and just try to win a race, but they're the same speed as everybody else.
I think
Because
yes and no.
it's not hard to drive. Is my point. Is that it makes it easier to drive because it's less horsepower, a lot of downforce. Tire wear is not a big issue. So, do you think that the William Byrons? I mean, he's an exceptional talent, but do you think these guys, these Ross Chastains and these William Byrons and these guys that only know, well, pretty much only know the next gen car of the last few years anyway, but you think they're going to be as successful if they went to something that had some horsepower?
I have to say no, only because Ross Chastain and William Byron and these guys that you're talking about, they had very good careers in the Xfinity Series, which the Xfinity Series is a wheel-it race car. We all know this,
Right.
and they found success in that race car. And if you can find success in that race car, I mean, it's you're pretty good everywhere else. I think they've done.
Justin
I think
Allgaier
some
about
of
that.
I think some of these guys have. Well, Justin Allgaier's tenure in Cup was with a team owner that couldn't afford cars that were more than 3 years old, less than 3 years old. Excuse me. He was never given. Justin Allgaier was never given a fair shot, and for my hills I'll die on, that's one. But
I think that's the car difference too, from the Xfinity car to what we had in the Gen 6 with, again, it had no power and a lot of downforce at the intermediates.
at the intermediate, well, I mean, see, and the
Allgaier's
thing,
feeling it around an intermediate and an Xfinity car where you've got the high horsepower and the low downforce, and then you completely flip-flop it. It's a completely different style of driving.
Well, no, Chad's talking specifically about the car.
Yeah,
in
the
that
point
particular
I'm
case.
making is that I'm hesitant to say that these guys are finding success because this car is easy to drive. Because honestly, I'm not saying that this car is easy to drive. There are things that are easier about it than there were in the Gen 6 car. And, I'll be the first one to tell you, I struggle mightily with this car. And it's because this car, and I've said this very sentence to Dave before talking about it, this car took everything that I do well and made it easier for everybody to do what I was doing. It took away my advantages. And
So that's my point.
some of
Though.
these
It
guys,
makes it easier for the guys who don't have the
still
talent.
talking.
I'm still interrupting.
So I think, there's something to be said for these guys who are adapting to this car better than others. And it's still like as much as some things are easier about this car also has a lot of challenges on its own. So that you have to be good at. So like, I'm not taking anything away from anybody that is better in the next gen car than they were in the Gen 6. Because not everybody, myself included, could make that transition as well as you did, Hillbilly, or as you did, Dave. So go ahead.
NASCAR's plan was to make it more equal, and I think they did that.
They did.
They did that, but the problem is, I think they did it by making the car so indestructible and so solid and so much easier on the driver to handle that now you have guys that weren't successful in the Gen 6 are now successful in this Gen 7. But I think that if they had to go back to driving that the real talent showed more in the Gen 6 than it does in the Gen 7.
So I have a thought on that as well, and then we'll move on from this and let somebody
I
else
knew
go.
you did. I knew you did.
But it's I don't think it's the driver. It's so much on the driver. The thing about these new cars was to make it to have more parity, which they have done, but it was also to lower costs. So it basically eliminated the engineering wing from every race team. So if you put all these guys back in Gen 6 cars that are as equal as these Gen 7 cars are, which is a virtual impossibility, but just walk with me for a second, I think you would see a lot of the same results. Because a lot of these guys have driving talent, but they were just with like I was just saying about Allgaier. He was with a team that didn't have good equipment. Ross Chastain came up through truck series teams and with Johnny Davis Motorsports in Xfinity series that is an also ran team, but he still outperformed his equipment. And you're not seeing guys outperform their equipment right now because the equipment is very, very similar.
But if that's the case, then we're going to find out here real soon because Corey LaJoie is about to jump into the into the 9 car for a weekend. I know it's only one weekend, and we really judge it, take it or leave it. But we're really going to see it there because the point of the matter is it's supposed to make those teams that don't have the money equal to the teams like Hendrick and this and that. That it's supposed to make them equal. So why is it that Corey LaJoie sucks today? Is he supposed to be great when he jumps in that 9 car? Because the engineering's the same. Everything's the same.
Well, see, the thing is, the engineering isn't the same. There's still some engineering that goes on in the little tiny gray areas that they're allowed. And I think that stuff makes a difference. It doesn't make as big a difference as it used to because you had basically had guys designing and building their own cars. But in the little gray areas, Hendrick Motorsports is going to have, and I'm not disparaging anybody at Spire Motorsports. I'm sure they're all great people and they're good at what they do. But Hendrick Motorsports gets the best people.
Yeah.
Spire Motorsports at this point in time does not. And that makes a big difference. The pit crew for Spire is not going to be as good. The crew chief for Spire, nothing against Ryan Sparks. He's a good crew chief, but he's not. I mean, I won't compare him to Alan Gustafson because I'm not an Alan Gustafson fan, even though I'm a Chase Elliott fan. But you see what I mean? Like the people at Hendrick are on a different tier than people at Spire, at least right now. And that also makes a big difference. So it's not just about the driver and the car. I think there's a lot more behind it that people lose sight of.
Well, I mean, there's setup because if you look at the car,
simulation,
Spire versus HMS is exactly the same. They're getting the same motors. Spire gets their motors from HMS, right? And
yes,
everything else is purchased by the same manufacturers for the same parts. So other than the setup itself,
Hendrick just knows how to cheat better. That's all it is.
Right. They got the right louvers.
That's what it is.
Exactly why. That's exactly what it is. And also, you got to think about things like support from Chevrolet. Like Hendrick is obviously a Chevrolet premier partner. Spire's not. So Spire does not get the sim time. They don't get the engineering support. They don't get the info from Chevrolet. And there's just a lot of things that's different. And I think a lot of people just look at it and be like, oh, well, if the cars are supposed to be the same, why aren't they the same? And first of all, even when they used to, you hear Ravernham used to talk about it whenever they had a car that won 4 races in a row for Jeff Gordon. He's like, I tried to build that exact race car again, but no 2 race cars are the same.
Right.
You
guys trying to wake up pets.
You guys definitely,
Juggles.
you definitely hijack Juggles.
Yeah, sorry about that, Juggles. But that's the point is to discuss it a little bit. But Juggles, if you have anything to add that we didn't cover.
I mean, the only thing that I guess I'll argue with you on is the Gen 6, the Gen 6 cars being the same, or rather becoming the same, because all you really have to do is apply this season's rules to the Gen 6 car, or the next gen rules as far as
salary cap, or not salary cap, budget cap.
Single source parts.
Yeah, if everybody has to get their parts, get their stuff from the same people, it equals a lot of things out.
Well, that portion of what I was saying is fantasy, obviously. There's no way you could make the Gen 6s exactly the same. I'm saying that it's not just the Gen 7 car that's making things more equal. It's the fact that the cars are so closely built.
Yeah,
because there's here's the menu of parts you can order from. Everybody order the same thing, and other than the little tiny advantages that each team's department finds, that's all you got,
Yeah.
But Gen 6 has much more adjustability in the car.
And,
than
and a
what
lot
you
of that is
had.
because they have a lot more freedom on how they build the car.
I mean, even if they were built with the same parts, you still have more setup things that you could change within the setup to make the car handle different and react different to
They
different.
actually got rid of the
conditions on
track bar, didn't it? So we don't even have a track
You're
bar. We
correct.
just got
Yeah,
wedge.
these
That's
cars
right.
don't have track bar because
Yep.
there's no the rear. It's independent rear suspension, so you couldn't.
They
The
can't,
track
and
bar
they
wouldn't
can't
work.
even change the brake bias anymore, right?
No, they can.
Yes, they can.
Can they do brake bias still?
We
Yeah,
can
they
change the
still do
brake
brake
bias in
bias.
iRacing, Josh. They have to be able to change
Yeah.
the
And
brake
we
bias.
can do master cylinder size and all that crap too.
Yeah.
But you
I was
can't.
mean, like while in race, I couldn't remember if they took. Didn't they
Oh.
take something away, or did
Well,
they take it away from the Gen
you
6?
don't have a track bar. That's the
Well,
that's one of the big changes.
they had the adjustable track bar from the
The
cockpit.
adjustable track bar. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
they took that away. They took it away because it didn't work.
Okay.
It made very, very, very little difference. And honestly, on most tracks, you had to be in the straightaway with no load on it for it to even move. So,
Well, that's kind of what you have to do in iRacing too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be if you're under braking, you can't adjust your brake bias.
What?
Well, I mean, that's
fact.
101 shit. Like, all right. So, Juggles,
Oh, we
if
got
you don't
Chad
have
all wound
anything,
up.
if you don't have anything to add, Juggles, why don't you go ahead and pick our next contestant?
Okay, you want me to pick? Let's go with Dave. Dave's not here, man.
He's not here, man.
I can tell you one thing is fucking NASCAR talk. I fucking hate it because it turns into what just it turns into what just happened for the last fucking 25 minutes. That's what fucking.
You don't like a good old fashioned debate?
Why do you think
Nah,
I
that was
fucking
pretty-
muted that channel in fucking Discord?
I thought it was because of who was making the debates.
Oh god damn it! I don't know what fucking pisses me off. I drive all day, so I can tell you exactly what pisses me off is people that know how to merge on a fucking highway.
Oh God, yes.
Especially when I'm in a fucking 60,000 pound truck and if I get off the gas to give you fucking room, you better fucking go. Like, I will
Let's
kill
run
you.
the whole merge lane out.
Tell us how you feel about the people who see the fucking sign that says right lane ending, and everybody's merging over to the left.
Oh, and they just
relying
fucking
on-
pile. They just pile in
Yep.
there like.
which causes
No.
a greater traffic jam than just getting the fuck over and everybody
I'll
single
run over
file
top
go
of the
through it.
line.
No, I don't let them in.
I'll split the damn line.
I get
I'll
over
sit there
there.
and
I
split
get
the
over
line.
there and ride myself. I'll find somebody behind me that'll just let me get back in line. I'll get over there and just pace them.
That happened. That happened to me last week. Come up on a construction area last Friday, and all the tourists are coming up here right now. So we had signs for the last 2 fucking miles of saying left lane ends. Right, fucking 2 miles of the bullshit. We're doing 15 miles an hour, and people are still just fucking hanging out there. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, get the fuck over. Like, but no, they wait till you can't fucking go any further, and then they're fucking pissed at you because you don't let them in. It's like,
I'll get up there. I'll trade paint with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Dave and Josh witnessed me do that. At one point when we were getting on the interstate going down to Richmond, and that
that fucking minivan or whatever.
That cocksucker in that minivan decided he was just gonna drive up and get in front of me, and I was like, "Oh, fuck you!"
All I hear Chad say is "fuck you," not today. Nope. And he ended up bailing and fucking kept going down the.
Yeah, he didn't even make it onto the on ramp, and I'm gonna tell you, it made my fucking day.
I was in a Toyota MR2, and I was blocking that other lane so people quit doing it. And people were just going around me, going through the median of the interstate, go around me. And finally, this dude, I had my windows down. This dude in this big ass truck with the trailers are beside me. He's like, "Hey, buddy." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Switch me positions." I was like, "All right." So I get over in the lane we should be, and he gets that big ass truck and trailer over there where they couldn't go around him. Fucking A, dude. Thanks for seeing what I was trying to do.
So that
for us all.
That definitely pisses me off. Just as much driving as I do, I see a lot of stupid shit that people do that just. It's like, really, you're gonna play this game? But
my brother talks about shit like that too. He's like people that'll fucking pull out right in front of him. He's driving a fucking full 53-foot tractor trailer full of beer, and they just pull out in front of him like he can stop on a dime.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, he's like, these people have no fucking idea. He's like, and then they're gonna try to sue me when I run one over if I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep telling him, man, he's like, 'cause their trucks don't have dash cams. And I was like, dude, get you a fucking dash cam. It's like, because
Yeah.
people lie too much. And
Mhm.
that's why my truck, my daily has a dash cam in it. Because too many people just do dumb shit and then try to be like, oh no, it wasn't my fault. Well, according to this video, it was. So
Yeah, the other thing that I can think of, iRacing related, you guys know this. I cannot stand whining and fucking crying, like we had this season. You know how bad that irks me. Like
I'm gonna
just
sit back in case Johnny comes through the screen.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Could you elaborate a little?
No, I don't want to. I don't want to reminisce on how this season
Please?
went. Like,
Well,
know,
Johnny, I think you have some things you might could add to this if you want to jump in.
Why, sure.
Start the clock.
Yep. You have 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Johnny,
People
we need you
talking to me.
talk,
Hmm?
People asking me to talk.
All right, so what do you want me to talk about?
oh my
Jesus
What do
fucking
you want
god!
you to talk about? Jeez. You know what pisses me off, guys? When Johnny doesn't pay attention to what the fuck we're talking about. Dude, Dave says he doesn't like it when people whine on iRacing, and I figured you had something to add to that.
Well, sure. Especially when the ones that say, "Oh, it's not my fault." Well,
Hmm.
it's awful funny that it's fucking never your fault. Never.
We've had a few of those.
And it's always the same people that say that. See people who are always in an incident, but it's never their fault.
But I didn't do it. Fuck y'all.
uncanny.
I
I
didn't
didn't
touch
take you
but I
three
give
wide
you a
for the
6X.
7th time in 3 laps.
Oh no, that was netcode.
Yeah, I didn't hit you. That was netcode.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, son of a bitch, you would have hit me if it wasn't for fucking netcode.
There are several of
Right.
them that were in there that it was if they are involved in an incident, it is either the other person's fault and they should be suspended, or it was netcode and they
Yeah.
did nothing wrong.
Okay, so the net code got me before you actually got to me. My bad.
Yeah.
You know.
I could clearly see you were gonna end up in my
Man.
fucking lane, but we got
Here's the thing.
netcoded
There are
first.
times where netcode is a
Yes, there is a thing.
a
Yes.
real
It's
thing.
It's a real thing.
But there's a lot of people like I've seen people who there's no way they got out of the car and looked at the video.
No.
And it's like, and here's the thing, like if I'm in, and you guys know this from racing against me, if I'm involved in a wreck, I don't say shit about it until I'm out of the car and I have a chance to watch. Like I won't say a word, good or bad, unless, obviously if it's super egregious, then yeah, I might say something. But if I go back and watch the replay and I'm wrong, I'll apologize and I'll say that I was wrong. And that's just not something you get a lot of in our group, at least lately.
Yeah. No, none of
You're
the.
not wrong.
A lot of guys don't want to look at the replay first, and even when they look at the replay, they still find reasons why they're not at fault when it's.
No,
clearly
they
their
won't look
fault.
at the replay when they know they were wrong.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah.
that's what that whole fucking conversation was with me and Kyle and Nathan's situation.
Oh, are we naming people? Okay.
I'll fucking name people. I don't care. I don't give a shit.
Well, I remember that. Was you talking about the one? It looked like Nathan turned hard left and just cleaned him out. I forget what track. We broke it down, Juggles and everybody, and
The Iowa, wasn't
Dover.
it?
the
No, not Iowa.
No.
Not Dover.
Oh, National Fairgrounds.
Short track. Yeah, fairgrounds.
yeah the in car clearly showed kind of a different story to the whole thing. So
Yeah.
you got to break it down. It's easy. You look at that video from a chopper view, and it's easy to say, yeah, he just turned left and wrecked him on purpose. But when you start looking at what he's doing inside the car, it showed something different.
Yeah,
So-
Chase Elliott caught the opposite side of that here
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Oh,
even on that, my biggest thing with that was fucking. He wants to say, "Oh, he intentionally wrecked me." Oh, this and the other. You came up the track and hit him.
Yeah, Denny's
Like the dooring him into the corner, fair game. Getting doored coming off,
For the
Fair
second
game.
time in 4 laps.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
And then-
Junior, if you listen to the Dale Junior download this week, like Junior was like, man, he's like, I
Oh.
saw it before the wreck happened. He's like, man, you're gonna piss him off.
But
Yeah.
action's detrimental. You heard Denny say, "I never hit him. I ran him up the track,
Right,
sure,
that's
but I never
bullshit.
hit him. He's
That's
a liar."
bullshit.
But,
Now,
you
I'll
know,
say this, like you guys know, and the listeners may not know at this point, but I am a diehard Chase Elliott fan. and will continue to be,
Shut up,
But
Kyle
the
Busch.
second that he did that, like I was sitting there watching my dad. The second he did that, I looked at my dad. I was like, that was a bad move. Because honestly, like, and again, I get he was pissed off. I get he lost his cool. He's human. It is what it is. But that, that's one point that I'll give to Denny is like, especially at a dog leg like that, like you can't do that. Like that's how you will fucking hurt somebody. And that's the same reason. That's the same reason that they suspended Bubba, especially with what they just did with Bubba the year before. I looked at that. I was like, they've got to suspend him. They've got to. There's no way they could not do that. They would have an endless shitstorm if they did not suspend him, and it was the right call. I'm sorry.
Here's the NASCAR talk again.
Yeah, my biggest issue. Yeah.
Next.
Me and Juggles were having a fucking perfectly good conversation. All of a sudden, fucking NASCAR hijacked it.
Yep.
I was talking about the league.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. All of a sudden, it's fucking Chase Elliott needs to go skiing again.
You realize we have a lot of passion about the sport that we all.
I mean,
kind of
I
brought
like
us all
racing
together.
as a whole. Like,
Yeah.
But
How do you race in a hole? That's weird.
Motherfucker, racing as a whole. You goddamn.
Never race in a hole, Dave. Never race in a hole.
That's
Really? I
what I was
questions.
talking about. My biggest thing.
I always win. I get there first.
My biggest thing with that whole
Nobody's never
situation.
been visiting a friend when their husband came home. I think
Let Juggles talk.
that's how you race in a
God.
hole.
My biggest thing with that fucking race with Kyle and Nathan was just that Kyle couldn't have expected he wasn't there. Like,
Yeah.
after the contact of Kyle coming up the track, okay, you can call that netcode all you want, but there was no expectation that he wasn't there. The door into the corner, okay, cool. Getting Dord coming off, fine. You've retaliated, but he took a line.
At that point, he should have let it go.
Wall. I agree. But his line, Nathan, don't get me wrong, Nathan wasn't up against the outside wall down the straightaway, which he doesn't have to be. He was like half a lane off the wall on the stripes. But Kyle made no effort to go, okay, I need to go straight here because this guy is here. He just went up the fucking track, doored him into the fucking wall, and wonders why he got spun coming off a four. Like, really, dude?
Yeah, there was a two contact coming off the corner. And then that third one where Kyle kind of ran him up the hill, Nathan just looked like he turned left and drove him down, pretty much saying screw you. And then it just whatever happens at that point. But it's I mean, sometimes what you do on the track, you serve the consequences for it. I think.
I mean, you have to take responsibility for your actions. That's all it amounts to.
Thing.
If I go into a corner and I wash up and run into somebody, I need to get over that radio and say, hey, I didn't mean to run over you. Even if I'm not sure I'm at fault yet, if I do that, it chills things out. It chills things out. And then I can look at the replay later and then go bless him out about it and say, you know what, I apologize to you, but you're the dick that actually came down on me. Yeah. I can do that later. But in the heat of the moment, it's always best to go ahead and try to own something if it's questionable. And there's a certain amount of people that we've raced with, and it happens in every league and every race car driver at some point. Sure, they're just like, nope, I do no wrong. I do no wrong.
Yeah,
exactly. If you made contact, that was your fucking fault. You shouldn't have been in my line. In my racing area.
Here's how I look at it too. Just because you didn't, like, we have a lot of drivers that say, well, I didn't do anything. It wasn't my fault. Just because, you may not have put a bumper on them, but the way you drive people, it is your fault. Like, if you want to consistently drive like a dickhead and crowd somebody and squeeze somebody lap after lap after lap, and then something happens, it's partially your fault too, because you're not giving respect or showing respect to a driver. Because that's happened many times with me, with certain drivers as well. They'll race you different than they do someone else because they're pissed at you.
Well, I explained to Sean Purcell, when we had our incident at the end of the season before this last one, I explained to him, I was like, listen, man, I said, because I wrecked him under caution. I deserve to be penalized for that. It took me 3 swings at him to hit him, but I wrecked him under caution. But the reason I did that is because I'm racing for a championship, and he ran me down the track on the straightaway and then wasn't going to go back up the track to give us both entry to the next corner. He cut me off trying to get me to break out of it. So when we made contact there, it became race control had to say, well, Hillbilly, that was your fault because you slid up into him. Well, that's because I had no entry into the corner because Dickhead was running me down. He knew that. He's not stupid. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He put you in a position to make you either lift or cause the wreck.
And I'm in 4th position there racing for a damn championship, and he does that to me. But he had nothing to gain or lose from this at all. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was pissed off and I got myself a good penalty afterwards, which I deserved. But it's what I explained to him in his DMs, and he didn't reply because I think he fucking knew he was in the wrong. But that's the way some people will race you, is that they'll be like, well, either I'm gonna make it to where you're the cause of the wreck, but in reality, it's my actions that caused that wreck.
Yeah.
But
he put you in a position.
I have to back out of it or cause the wreck and be the reason that the wreck happened.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, screw that. I'm not going to give in to someone because they know the rules and they're manipulating the rules to be a dick and get the position. Screw that.
Yeah, and there's some people that are, if they're always in a wreck or they're always caught up in something. And to me, I look at it as it's their awareness of not knowing, you know what I mean? They're doing this, they're making them same mistakes all the time. They're not thinking ahead and trying to avoid a situation. They're always just, I call it driving out your front windshield. You're not looking what's ahead or what's going to happen. So that happens a lot with some of the drivers in this, that we had, and I don't know who's going to be left, but some of the guys that were here and gals, I guess.
A lack of anticipation.
Dave, I've heard you say before, be like, look, I got to take it to this guy and just be like, look, man, why is it always you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it was one driver at one point. I think I remember who it was, but I'm not going to name him. It was like 5 weeks in a row. You're in the admin chat bitching about something that happened to you. It's like, well, why are you always in this situation? Why are you always there?
Yeah.
You need to examine how you're racing people and why you always end up on the bad end of this stuff.
Yeah.
And like I can get that all the time, and that's a big pet peeve of mine.
And I hate to call people out, but our own Johnny May right here used to do the same stuff. He was always find the bad end of the deal. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I used to tell him, like, you just got to tone it down, pay attention, look for those situations, know who you can race against and who you can't, and in this league you learn everybody, right? So I know exactly the drivers that I can race hard and know there's not going to be any stupid shit that happens. So
always knew if there was a certain car coming behind me, he was a dart without feathers. He was going to take me 3 wide any chance he got, and he was going to wreck me.
Yeah, and just let him go. I remember telling Johnny that all the time. If Johnny's still here, I used to tell him, just let him fucking go, Johnny. Just, if he wants to be that fast,
let him go. Get him
just
later.
Go. You'll get him later on.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you just got to do that shit. So
now that was the problem, as we've touched with the next gen car too, is the tires didn't fall off, so you didn't have as much chance to go back and get them.
Yeah.
Whereas we found out last night running the Gen 6 at Nashville Super Speedway, where even though Dave and Hillbilly got away from me a little bit,
you were coming
back. Their shit out. They wore their shit out side by side, and I was catching up on them.
And see, that's what happened to me when we ran the trucks. I ran the truck race at Nashville, just because it's Nashville. And I hadn't run a truck in forever, and for some reason that tire model must be different than some of the other ones, because that's the same thing that happened to me. Like, I was able to take off and kind of run away a little bit, but when the tires wore out, I could not figure out how to drive the truck. So
yeah, and that's what, like, oh, go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry, I thought you.
No, that's where Sean got me on that race, because I just he kind of sat back there like I normally would do, but I've never experienced that at Nashville. So I just figured I'd just run away with it like I was, but then the tire model is a lot different. So
yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I was talking about when I said, like, for me personally, the Gen 6 kind of made some of the things that I was good at unimportant, and tire wear is one of them. Like, I'm not bragging on myself by any means, but I'm really, really good at managing my tire wear, and that's something you don't ever do in a next gen. For the most part, you're full tilt all the time, and I don't run full tilt all the time.
No.
And just and I remember the truck race that I ended up taking myself out of at Homestead a few years ago, racing with Cam. Like if that race had, if I hadn't wrecked, if that race had still come down to a 5-lap shootout at the end, I'm not winning that race because I couldn't take off because I had a specific line that I was running that didn't abuse my tires, but it wasn't super fast in the beginning. And after 5 laps, I was, I blew Cam's doors off. And 5 laps after that, I had a straightaway on him.
Yeah.
And it was, just I'm much better at being able to pace myself and kind of just find that pace that's not giving up a whole bunch of time on the front end of the run and getting it back on the back end. Because you guys know, you've raced here long enough. Like that's a tough balance to find at times.
Yeah, especially if you're starting up front. Like if you get pole, it's hard. It's hard to just say go.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't do it, they're coming from the back. So it's hard.
Went through that with the race at Dover with Josh. I had to kind of let Josh go and just be like, all right, hopefully I'll see you later. And like 10 or 15 laps later, I hear him start going, shit, I'm loose, and I'm getting a small smile going across my face when I hear him saying that, because I'm like, here we go.
I think I might have done that with you, Chad, at a place like Dover or something. You caught me, I let you go. Mm-hmm. And then the same thing, like 15, 20 laps later, I kind of started reeling you in. Then you're like, yeah, just go.
Yeah, because like if you run me down, if you were straight away behind me and you run me down, why am I going to fight you if it's not the end of the race?
Yeah,
like just go. I've got something to figure out. Obviously, I can follow you and learn something.
Yeah.
And several times there have been times where you've done that. You've run me down. You've passed me. I've followed you for a couple laps. Suddenly, I'm passing you back because I found something you did.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you've done the same to me. And it's just that's. Like Josh had a good point though, with like the way the Gen 7's tire fall off or lack thereof, it makes all more important to race the shit out of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's no comers and goers.
Exactly, that's a big problem.
If you don't have pole, you're kind of screwed.
Mm-hmm. All right, Dave, who's going next?
Let's do Joshua. He's sitting there grinning.
He's waiting for his turn to talk.
Josh,
you can talk all you want. You can talk all you want. Nobody's going to interrupt you. Except for Juggles when he laughs.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait, I got another.
The thing right on my mind right now that irritates the shit out of me.
Oh, that reminds me, guys. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about.
Fuck off, Chad.
Yeah, you did. Go ahead, Chad. Go ahead, Chad.
Oh shit.
I'm kidding, Josh.
Okay, we're good. Go ahead.
You got Josh. Josh, go ahead.
Anyway,
just Josh.
People that cannot mow in a straight fucking line.
Damn,
Mr. Mom over here.
It irritates me to no end. Two people across the street from me. What? Quit fucking interrupting me, you jack off.
Look, fucking, you interrupted me first, and I was.
I interrupted you during my time. Fuck you.
No, you interrupted me during my time. Fuck you.
Mowing their lawn like Laguna Seca.
Because I don't understand the significance of this if you're gonna mow the whole fucking thing. But go.
What do you mean if you're gonna? No, that's no.
Lines still show up, Juggles.
Like okay, we've been over this about my OCD about certain things. Toolbox, everything's lined up. My yard, I don't know what it is about mowing grass, but I take very good care of my yard. It's green. I got a nice mower, and
grass is normally green.
Are you push mowing like everybody else is? Are you push mowing or ride mower?
I push mower.
Okay, that's why it matters to you. If you were on a ride mower, you wouldn't give a damn. You'd be hustling that thing around as quick as you can. I mowed my lawn in like 30 minutes today, and it was amazing. I felt like I was running a road course.
It only takes me 40 minutes to mow my
question
yard.
for this.
Okay, what?
Are you talking about straight line in relation to the line next to it, or is it like you don't like diagonals or
straight line to the line next
like
to it?
That? Okay,
straight. Like mine. So I am right on the other tire mark. And I go through and I have a pattern that I do because you're supposed to mow it different ways, so that way the blades lay different, so it gets.
You're one of those people.
Okay, so
I am one of those people. But anyway,
better.
The people across the street, that their lines here, their tire lines here, they're over here, and not only is it over top of the other tire line, it's doing this as over top of the other tire line.
That
So
goes away in like
not
36
only
hours.
is it not straight, it's not even on the tire line not straight.
Oh, you would love to come to my house because
I'd probably
I got like 3 acres of lawn that I have to mow, and I've got like a Kubota, with a 52-inch deck or whatever underneath it. When I come up on like a fucking ball or a toy in the yard, I just fucking go around it and fucking leave it. So the next time, hopefully the ball
Josh is
moves
in
next
physical
time.
pain.
So you
Josh
get
is
like
in
the,
physical pain right now.
get
I
like
go
the
around.
little patch of grass.
I walk around my yard before I go mow, and everything that's in the way gets pulled out of the way. All the hoses get put underneath the deck, so I can mow where the hose is. Everything.
It's because you got a small yard. You can do that shit.
Right.
Maybe, but
I don't
That-
fucking understand. My head hurts.
Douglas, do you even mow your lawn?
Yes, but it needs to be mowed.
Okay.
Now,
But I do.
on that note, I do make sure. So I mow in a square and work my way to the inside, but I'm always throwing the clippings to the inside so that I'm kind of mulching it up.
Cut 'em
Going over it
and
again. Yeah, so I'm not at the end of it. You're not seeing these lines of freaking clippings. That kind of annoys me.
Well,
But you know what? Not enough for me to
I
give a
bag
shit
mine.
about it.
You're also not shooting them out
you're
into
one
the
of those
road for a
guys.
motorcycle to die on.
Absolutely not.
I was gonna say
Absolutely not.
Josh strikes me as the one that once he's done, he's out there with a rake, raking up all.
no,
the
my
clippings.
mower's got a bagger on it.
He's out there in his white New Balances with his hands on his hips going, yeah, it looks good.
With the old walk, with the
Yeah, I
old.
don't have the white New Balances, but I do go out there and I.
Do you own an edge clipper that you run down your sidewalk?
I
Edger, I
do
think
not
he
have a
means.
trimmer. I'm working on getting
whatever.
one because my
Yeah,
weed
weed
eater?
eater I got as a attachment. I can switch out the heads on them, but I will be getting an edger.
Josh does strike me as the guy that wear the white sneakers with like the old school Walkman with the fucking old school headset out there with.
I do not have the white New Balances yet. Come on.
I never thought of
Need
you
'em.
being like the lawn police
Look,
though.
Every dad's got to have.
I
one
don't do
pair
anything
of
about it.
white-
Just like it's most irritating because they're right across the street. I see it from my front window looking out.
And just close
It's
the
just-
blinds, man.
Hey, there's one way to fix it, Josh.
Go mow it for
Start,
him.
start mowing it for him.
Yep. If you don't like how it's mowed,
I think
Just
they'd
be
have a
like,
heart
"Hey,
attack
look,
because
you know
they're
what?
both electric mower people.
It also feels like
Oh,
it's a moot fucking thing to be mad about because it's not like, how do you get rid of those lines that you're
Well,
complaining?
it's an annoyance. That's what this is about. Those things that annoy you.
Things that irritate you. It irritates me.
They don't have to be rational. They don't have to make sense.
That's fair.
I'd like to know how they do like the cool shapes and shit when they mow grass.
You know, a lot of it,
different
like
patterns
baseball
that you can put on
fields.
the
yeah.
back that-
A lot of that actually, and like the infield of Daytona stuff like that. It's really,
Seeding.
it's actually, it's seeding. It's not how they're mowed. There's different types of grass planted.
Ah.
Well, no, so they do have like, the angle their blades so that they mow one direction and then the next direction so that it gives you that off look.
Yeah, you can get stripers, but Daytona,
that's
if you
in
talk
addition-
to them though,
It's in addition to how they
They
seed it.
seed it. Yeah.
Yep, they actually they
Spread
will
the
map out the
seed, spread the
design.
seed.
And then
Whatever-
yeah,
whatever
and then they'll
fucking-
seed.
Whatever grass seed they put down on mine, it came with an awful lot of dandelions.
that's
Hmm.
called weeds. That's why you fertilize.
I don't give a. I don't. I don't walk in the
Okay,
fucking grass,
that's-
anyways.
Is that all you got, Josh?
I guess
That's all that pisses you
it's
off?
It's pissing Juggles off that irritates me.
I'm not mad about it. I just don't fucking get it. Like, but granted, at the same time, I don't pay attention. The way I mow my grass, if or when I mow it, is
If
from
or
right
when.
to left to right.
Mexican American.
I go from the top of from the house where the grass
all right.
starts by the house down to the sidewalk. So
I have a weed whacker, but I don't use it.
eat my ass.
I guess other than that, it goes to like with days with shitty fucking drivers.
Yeah, I believe it. That's everywhere.
Wait,
Yeah.
you're in fucking. Do people drive cars in Iowa?
Oh fucking Christ! fixed. Yes, they do. I work in Des Moines, biggest city in the fucking state.
Des Moines.
That doesn't tell me much, to be honest.
There's more people than Portland, Maine.
I mean,
Fuck off.
I fucking highly doubt it.
People,
I
not
don't.
lobsters, Dave.
And comparable to major cities, what's it comparable to?
Des Moines.
Charleston, West Virginia.
More, I don't know.
Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Portland. I'm looking it up now that we gotta have this argument. Portland, Maine. Population
Way too many.
68,000. Okay, so Portland, Maine is the same size as the town that I grew up in here in Iowa, which is not as big as Des Moines.
That's a
I don't-
lie. You
I
haven't
don't-
grown up a bit.
I don't live in Portland, so I don't care. What's the
Well, okay,
What's the population in Poland, Maine? See how many people live up here.
even less.
Oh, yeah, probably like 2,000, 3,000.
Wait,
I
Dave,
don't
you're
know.
Polish?
Poland, Maine. It says 5,600 or 5,900. See, the town that I live in now is less than 1,000.
People leave us alone up here.
But Des Moines.
My graduating class had
Is-
200 people, a little less.
Yeah, mine was
560,000.
200.
Mine was
Des
1,000.
Moines 560.
Des Moines?
Yep.
Yeah. That's way too many people. Who's vacuuming? Johnny, put the vacuum down.
Told you
It's
not
not
to
gonna
disturb me
do.
when I'm cleaning my room.
It's not gonna do what you think it's gonna do, bud. I promise.
He's like,
if you do,
I got my camera off. They'll never know.
all the Vaseline in the world won't make that right.
That's a man speaking from experience right there.
Oh, my God.
Absolutely. I've had
Oh,
hickeys.
Jesus.
Oh.
Oh God.
Oh,
Too much.
God.
Oh.
All right, Billy, I think it's your turn.
Yeah, Hillbilly.
Oh,
What?
shit.
What?
All right.
what-
Well, I could say Ohio drivers. Let's start with that one, but I don't need to go any further than that. That's self-explanatory.
You just you just don't like anybody from Ohio.
I really don't. That's what separates West Virginians from cocksuckers is the Ohio River. There we have it. But no, so it's I one thing that really gets under my skin is
Your teammate beating you?
well no, I'm actually cool with that.
Mercy,
much-
Dave.
I'm
as
never
much as-
I'm never
That was
getting
a
that
very
Chevy.
low blow.
I'm never getting that Chevy Camaro, am I?
You can't win in a Toyota.
He won several in a Toyota, actually.
But
All right,
no, I
fair
mean, I would say it's probably, man, one of the bigger ones. There's a lot, but one of the bigger ones is own your shit. Whatever it is in life, you do it. Own your shit. Don't say you're gonna do something. Don't make a commitment you're not willing to fucking to uphold. That's a big one.
Yes.
Own your shit. If you make a mistake, then fucking own it. Own it. You know, I messed up. I made a mistake. That's my, whether you're apologetic about it or not, it is irrelevant. Just say that I am the responsible party. I mean, I might wreck you on track. Now that's going back to racing, but it could relate to anything in life. If I wreck you on track, I might not be upset that I did it. I might not be mad at myself that I did it. But all right, that was on me. I might have intentionally went up and did it, but it was on me, regardless if I did it on purpose or not. It was on me if I made the mistake.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you jump to a quick conclusion, because that's another one of my pet peeves. You know, people jump into a conclusion to how something went when they really don't know. They don't have the facts.
Yeah.
But if you feel that you might have been a cause of something, make it better for that other person. If you're not, unless you're just like, fuck them, I don't give a shit anyway. It's very so my number one pet peeve is respect. Right? If you disrespect me, fuck you. It's on. I don't have any respect for you or anything around you or anything you got to say until you can show me a little bit of respect, because I'm gonna give you that same thing up until it's not returning in favor to me. That's a big one, is respect. But yeah, I don't know. Ohio drivers is a big one.
I made a mistake of being friends with you assholes. See ya.
There he goes.
I'm back. Sorry.
And he's back.
Hey, he's back.
It's a long time.
No, hey.
As long as this sucks life.
Yikes. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm just.
I agree with that 100%. Like, you make a mistake.
sure.
There's so many people that,
Accountability.
not even in like racing or anything like that, but
Right.
in the real world, like with people's jobs, you'll have people that, I mean, I have coworkers that make a mistake. They just try to hide it until somebody goes in behind them and they realize what they fucking did. It's like,
Yeah.
and then you
Well,
say something
And then they
they'll
want to show
deny
it off to somebody. Yeah.
Well, it all
Yes.
goes in the same line with, and this is respect as well, but it all goes in the same line with, okay, let's say that two people work in the same profession and they both know their job well. If you can't debate what the correct course of action is on something or the answer to solution to a problem or whatever it is, if you can't debate it and the other person hear you out and you hear them out, then neither one of you are going to learn anything new, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's always a better way to do something, but it pisses me off when they don't have to. At the end of it all, you don't have to agree with me, but fucking hear me out, right?
Yeah.
Hear me out. I listen to you and your way of doing things, and that may be the way the course of action we're going to take. But at least hear me out.
Yeah.
I'm big on. I'll even play the devil's advocate a lot, and that's caused me a lot of problems in the past. To where even though I may think the same thing that Chad does on a topic, I'm going to
on
find
the surface,
what
it
the
sounds like
other.
you're disagreeing.
Well, because I'm going to say, hey,
Yeah.
let's look at it from this angle too, because there's a group of us. Let's look at it from
I
this
do the
angle.
same thing.
It may not be my take on it. This other angle is likely not even my take on it. But I want it to be out there so it gets everybody thinking of all the possibilities to come up with the perfect answer or the best answer.
Sounds like a lot of the debates that Juggles and I have over Instagram.
Yeah.
About racing and things like that. Yeah, like, and I agree with that 100%. I do that a lot too, just being like, well, this is probably why this is happening this way. It's like, I'm not defending it. I'm just saying this could be it. And like, I'm with you and Dave on that big time. Like, accountability is huge. Just like you said, own your shit, man. It's just not that hard. And to take it, I feel this might not be related, but I feel like it is. Consideration for other people. That is my number one on everything. And I learned this about myself because literally any pet peeve I have, because I have several, just like all of us do, but it all can be true. It all can be traced back to me making this statement to people going, yeah, that's right. Other people exist. And it comes down to how people drive, how people do their jobs,
How they take care of their yard.
how people take care of their yard, how people race in a sim and in real life. It's like
How they speak
if
to
I'm
each
going,
other.
if I'm going 75 down the highway and somebody zips in and out of traffic and blows 2 inches away from me going 90, fuck you, because you don't give a fuck about anybody else's life on this road except for whether or not you get to work when you want to. Fuck you for that. Like, you're a shitty person, and I hope somebody door dings the fuck out of your car when you get to work. I hope nothing good happens to you for the next several days. Like, that's the way I get. And it's just because, like, fuck you for just being like, fuck everybody else.
Yeah.
Because that's
Those
the
damn
shittiest
Chevy
fucking,
Camaro drivers.
that's the shittiest fucking attitude that you could ever have about any other human being, is just being like, well, fuck them. They don't matter. Because that's bullshit.
It's almost like when you sit in a parking lot with your blinker on to turn into a spot that someone backed out of, and someone whips around and just fucking pulls in.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
fuck you.
Dude. That's fist fight shit.
That, but I also hate the people that you're walking out of a store and they just start creeping behind you, waiting for you to get in your car. Like, you're going out of Walmart. You still got a full cart of shit, but they're creeping behind you and they just sit there and they're waiting for you to get in your car so they can have your parking spot.
Oh, I will sit in my car and
I
wait.
will sit there. I will get on my phone and I will look at fucking porn for an hour.
I'll do better.
Y'all are dickheads. What's the problem
better.
with them waiting? How are they bothering you?
I will do better.
Really, how's it affecting your life if somebody's waiting for you?
I will back out for them. I will back out for them. But I will do it exactly this fast.
But no, I mean, think about it. What really
Just
is
enough
it?
to where
What
they
really?
can see that I'm moving.
But what really is it hurting you for them to sit there and wait? They're the ones waiting.
No, that's
A lot of times,
and
if it's like that, they're holding up 4 other people behind them.
no, and that is petty shit. Like, I'll agree with that. Like, there are
That's a
times
little
where I want to
petty.
do shit like that, and I try to be better. sometimes, I let the intrusive thoughts win, but it's like normally I'd be like, it's fine. They're just waiting for, fine, I'll get out of the way. Here's one thing though. If you beep your fucking horn at me when I just got there and now I will sit here till one or both of us die.
Yep.
Or you just get back out and walk back in the store.
You guys do realize all this that we've talked about, though, it all boils down to that one thing I said earlier, respect.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you got to respect people you don't know, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt, show respect. If you don't get that return, then you can turn into whatever you need to turn into.
Yeah.
You turn into fucking Incredible Hulk if you want to and start smashing shit.
Well,
but at least start off with that, and then you see how it goes. Because honestly, sitting in that parking spot because that person's waiting on you is kind of disrespecting them. Whenever you don't hurry, don't feel hurried because they're waiting because they want that spot. It's an advantage for them to have that spot so they don't have to walk so far.
Yeah.
But yet at the same time, by sitting there, you're kind of just being a dick. Unless they toot their horn and then they're being disrespectful and you.
If they're holding up 5-6 other cars waiting for one spot.
Well, if not, one of those other cars get that spot.
Not them.
Wait, how
just go about your day normal.
How about,
and don't worry about them.
How about people when you walk into like a gas station or some shit and they don't hold the door for you when they know you're right behind you coming in?
That shit pisses me off.
I always do it.
Well,
I
always do, but there's people
that won't acknowledge when you do it for them.
Yeah.
Here in the South, that's a big thing, right? If I hold the door for someone, they ought to say thank you when they go through. Now, they didn't ask me to do this. I did it because I was being polite. Be polite in return. If not, then you're just an asshole. And I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to go any further than that. But don't expect me to step out of line because I have more groceries than you. You know what I mean? You only have one item.
I'm not the guy who's going to sit there and yell "You're welcome" because you didn't say thank you. Like I'm not going to be like that.
No.
But at the same time, like I get people who ask me like when I walk out of a store, like and I open the door right before I let go of the door, I look behind me.
Yeah.
And I keep going in there like, what are you, paranoid? I'm like, no, I'm looking to see if there's somebody behind me I need to hold the door for.
Right. Don't want to hit him in the face of the door.
Yeah, because like that's rude as shit. Like I'd rather look behind it. If there's somebody there, I'll stop and I'll wait. It's not that hard to be courteous.
Yeah.
Like
I'll tell you one that's a problem is when youth today on a bus or on a subway or on
I got 5 more gray hairs in my beard for you saying that.
When they're disrespectful, to the elderly, and I'm not talking about people my age. I'm talking about this 75-year-old lady is standing up, and your 25-year-old ass is sitting down. I want to stomp a mud hole in you.
Me too.
Because that right there, I was taught better than that, and maybe they weren't taught better, but they're gonna learn today. They're gonna learn real quick because
I'll probably just get up. I'll probably just get up and be like, "Ma'am, would you like my seat?" Since some people are too important to get up.
Yeah, I would probably offer it before they even had a chance to, but. The point of that is, if we're both, if I'm standing and there's a 75-year-old lady standing, that 25-year-old punk sitting over there needs to get up off his ass.
Yep.
And that right there to me is that these folks have been around a long time. Maybe we don't know nothing about their life. We don't know if they lived it good or if they were evil people. We don't know, but they've been here a long time and they deserve the respect from every damn one of us. Again, respect, that R word. Very important.
Yeah. I have a saying at work that me and my coworkers say, it's don't fuck the next guy.
Exactly.
Because you don't know if you're the one coming back to that job or whatever you're doing.
Yep.
It may be 6 months, a year, whatever it is. If you do something stupid to cover up your fucking shitty work, the next guy's going to pay for it.
Internal customers. Your coworkers are internal customers.
That's another one of mine. Laziness.
Yep.
We all have those moments, where you fucking,
sure.
I don't want to deal with this shit. I'm going home, or
shortcut here,
shortcut to
there.
get the fuck out.
But to Dave's point, I damn sure know that if I shortcut something, if it's going to be a problem, it's going to come back to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will go in and fix it, or I'll just be like, all right, I'll go in and fix this tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you're not always able to do that in every profession. Mine, I'm lucky enough to where I can just hit pause on most of what I'm doing, and come back and finish it later. But it's just. I used to work in like manufacturing and production like that, Dave, and like it's amazing how many people will just be like, well, that's not my fucking problem anymore. And they clock out. And
it's come
into
back.
a fucking mess.
It's come back to bite me before because I've been in that moment where worked on something for fucking 8 hours, and you're like, fuck, I just need to get out of here. I'll leave that the way it is and we'll deal with it later. And
Mhm.
get home fucking 3 o'clock in the morning. They fucking call on. It's like, oh, here we fucking go. I'm going back out, and it's my own fucking fault. So
Yep.
part of it.
Well, fellas, I
So-
don't know how we're doing on time. I didn't look at what time we started. I
Who-
guess as a
who
host, I
was-
should have done that.
Did Johnny go and what pisses him off yet?
We tried to get Johnny to go, and he said 5 words and stopped talking.
Oh,
So-
Mm-hmm.
He said, what
Listen
do you
here,
want me-
motherfucker.
What do you want me to talk about?
Yeah,
That's what
yes,
he
he
said.
did.
Think.
That's what he said.
8 words.
So, 8 words, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, are we good on time, Dave? I mean,
Yeah,
I think we
the-
pretty much got everything out we need to get out. So,
Yeah, no,
um,
I think it was good. Juggles didn't really, I feel bad. Juggles got
yeah,
Juggles got
Juggles,
ran
Juggles,
most of the
we steamrolled your subject a little bit. So if you got anything else, non-racing related or racing related, whatever you want, man, we're gonna give you the floor for a little bit.
But he had a good subject. That's what caused it. So go ahead, Juggles.
I promise me and Hillbilly will shut up. I promise I'll shut up. I can't promise Hillbilly will.
Yeah, I can't either.
I don't know. I mean, it would
Okay,
really
everybody look at Juggles.
because as as you said about the whole anything else I wanted to touch on, I forgot about the other stuff. If you look up a MotoGP bike right now, it looks fucking ridiculous. They've got front dive planes, rear fucking mini spoilers on the fucking back.
So wait, so you're telling me that
Back on-
these bikes, they now have
Fat fucking wang. Yes, quite literally. Quite fucking literally, they do. Like,
yeah, it's ridiculous, man. Like,
I don't
but
know.
I mean, I guess
Formula
they're
One's
gonna.
ridiculous with this shit to me. Like, I love Formula One. Y'all know this. I talk about it a lot. I think there's shit Formula One does better than NASCAR, and I think there's shit Formula One can adopt from NASCAR in America.
I
But
think all the racing series can learn from each other. Like,
Oh,
there's always
absolutely.
going to be something that they do better than others. Like, I mean, like in the IndyCar, like the Indy 500 was a great race, I thought. But anywhere else, there's snooze fest. That has a lot to do with that track and race configuration and what that race means.
Yeah.
And Monaco was a snooze fest because it's Monaco, and
Cars are too
there was-
big for that track anymore.
the cars are too big for that track. There has not been a green flag pass for the lead of that track in almost 30 years. That's a
Yeah.
problem. And
I think they could benefit from making Monaco more of a time trial at this point instead of it being a race. You're gonna have these big fucking cars, just make it a time trial.
I don't think they're ever going to change it because there's too much tradition.
Time trial is not racing, in my opinion.
It's just at Monaco,
Racing
that's the
sucks.
race. If you win the pole, you've won the race,
I know, and it's
barring a mechanical failure.
It absolutely. I mean, that's why I really don't watch Formula One and all that. I want to see side
That's
by
about
side
the only-
racing.
That's about the only
Yeah.
race I do watch because it's the whole Memorial Day thing. Breakfast in Monaco, lunch in Indianapolis, and dinner in Charlotte. So that's what that's my Memorial Day Sunday. So, but
So Juggles, we jacked your conversation again.
Oh my god! It's
Got so far.
I don't
Hey,
know.
it's-
It's just certain racing related shit that I look at that we complain about this being an issue, but some of the shit that could fix it isn't being done. I don't understand the complicated down setup people are coming.
Yeah.
Make the shit simple.
well, as far as NASCAR is concerned, and we've all been watching long enough to know that if it's not NASCAR's idea or can be made to look like NASCAR's idea, NASCAR's not going to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Dale Jr.'s ideas come to fruition sometimes.
My problem.
Only after NASCAR comes up with something slightly different and says it's theirs.
Yeah,
My
you know.
problem with motorsports in general, and I've been in motorsports my whole life, and it's NASCAR. I give them credit; they fixed this particular problem, but still, in every other series, it's whoever spends the most money is going to be the most
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah.
NASCAR finally fucking fixed that problem, right?
Yep.
They went to this, one source. Everybody has the same shit.
Mhm.
Here you go, put it together, go race. But everywhere else in the world, even short tracks here,
Run what you brung.
if I spend more money than the guy that pits next to me, more than likely I'm going to be more successful than him. So
Oh yeah.
the more money, and that's
And-
coming from not just parts and what you can buy. That's
R&D.
knowledge. You're buying knowledge. So if you
Yeah,
find
and
that
research
guy,
and development's
And that
huge.
becomes a big problem when, like, back in the day when I was helping a buddy of mine with a late model car, and Mark McFarland pulls in, and it's a $250,000 operation at the very least. And it's like, okay, how much does second pay? Because you're not beating him.
Yep. Yep.
And it's just I understand what you're saying. That's very, very frustrating.
Well, it's
And
like
just-
having a 5,000 iRacing person come into our league and race against guys that are under 2,000.
yeah, fuck
Yeah.
you, Louis.
I mean, it's
I honestly like Louis racing with us
Oh,
because
I
he gives us something to
love
shoot
Louis.
at.
yeah.
No, I
And
love
then,
Louis, man.
If he has a
Louis-
boy and that kid's name is not Douglas, I'm gonna fly over there and punch him in the dick.
Yeah,
I like a little better than us, but not like Keegan Leahy coming in and smoking us
Yeah.
all, or
So-
or Michael Conti or somebody. That's
yeah.
terrible.
Like a note about Louis though, like we've had some guys at his level in iRating just want to come in and trophy hunt and cherry pick what races they go. Louis comes in, he contributes, he works with any one of us that ask him for help.
Oh yeah.
He's taught every single person in this frame an unbelievable amount just by saying, "Hey, come out here and follow me and listen to what I'm telling you."
Yeah.
Like we've learned a
Yeah.
bunch from Louis, and like I'm thankful for his presence here. We give him shit all the time because he's British and that's gross. But it's but no man, I love Louis to death, man. Like we're gonna have him on here eventually. So
And Brits are okay too, guys. Brits are okay too.
Yeah,
And
that's an inside joke.
That's the thing.
But,
Louis doesn't
Hey,
come in
Douglas.
here. Louis knows he can outrace any of us, right? He knows that.
Absolutely.
But he doesn't come in here with that attitude, which is
No.
nice. Like he comes in to have fun with us. And
We will all
just
say that
something
he's
to
going to
do.
win the race. We
Oh,
will
yeah.
all say, "Okay, Louis, well, congrats on this win you're about to get." And he's like, "Oh, I don't know.
Oh, he didn't get me at Martinsville. No,
Me either.
sir.
Me and you
No,
both
sir.
beat him in Martinsville."
I knew
he-
he was
All at Martinsville.
he was faster than us, but when he had to come back through the field, wasn't it like a penalty or some shit? He got back.
No,
there.
he got Caden wrecked him.
Oh, okay, yeah. I made sure on the last lap he was not going to go
And
around me.
Caden is one of those cherry pickers I'm talking about, and I really hate that he was in that race because I would have won it if he hadn't been there.
I beat Louis at Atlanta, but he lost his internet connection partway through. But in my defense, he and I were both class of the field, and we were running away from everybody else. The two of us, I could stay with him, so
Yeah.
it could have been a battle at the end. But yeah, I think I only won because his internet flaked out.
Yep. Then he
Nah,
loses.
man, I
He
mean, we've
loses
had
his wheel
some-
and he still smokes everybody.
We've had some problem members in our league for sure, but we've come across some good people.
Yeah,
from it.
there's.
Um,
I would say our
some of-
league, it as a whole, there's a tremendous amount of talent as far
Oh,
as
absolutely.
iRacing talent. There really is. Even the ones that
Absolutely.
we say are, we may think are a pain in the ass or whatever, they can still wheel it. They can still drive, and they're very super competitive, and it's fun.
I'll say like
but-
Louis has always been super complimentary of us, and I don't know if it's just because he's being nice, but like I was making a joke with him one time because he's like, "Yeah, I got around you that and kind of drove away from you." I'm like, "Yeah, it's 5,000 iRating versus 1,800," and he was like, "Dude, he's like, you're way better than an 1,800 iRating. You
Yeah.
just don't ever run officials." And I'm
Yeah.
like, that might be true.
Well, the thing
But
is,
he's
too,
like-
like Louis, when he first came in with the Xfinity stuff, of course, he was far beyond us.
Oh
And
God,
then-
yeah.
Then, as we got into the next gen stuff, I remember him saying when he come back in, he's like, "You guys have gotten so much better than
Mm-hmm.
where."
He didn't
where we
race with us
were."
for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, practice sessions have shown that it used to be I'd be 3/4 of a second to a second slower than Louis because he's just that fast.
Mm-hmm.
At least now in practice
like
times, I can get within hundreds of him at times, but I still don't have his ability on that long run because that dude can run hot laps all race long and still has speed.
Well,
I
yeah.
run hot laps for 10 laps and I'm
Mhm.
falling off the pace. Man.
Yeah,
I
he
don't know
would-
how he does it.
It's
but-
he'll save tire, but he's still running
and still
3
be
to
half a
4
second faster.
tenths quicker than us,
Yeah.
saving tire.
Crazy.
So.
Yep.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's sort of,
but,
it's sort of like how Josh doesn't have the ability to, not load into a fucking race before the podcast is over.
right, exactly. Yeah, his inability to do so is
Yeah.
pretty tremendous.
Yeah.
His inability to follow instructions is just amazing.
But back to what Dave was saying, about the Louis, talking about the iRating gaps. Lilith, our current champion, she said the same thing. you know, being under 2,000 I rating at the time myself, she's like, you guys are easily 3,000 I rating. I mean, your skill levels within this league. It's just that a lot of us don't run the official
We
races
don't. Yeah.
a
I
whole
don't run
lot.
official more than a year.
Yeah, so
I don't
mean,
enjoy them.
yeah, we're a lot faster. We're a lot faster because of league racing, I think, and racing these people that really are out there doing it and that are good. I think we're better than what our current I rating shows for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I always
I
said
don't
I
think
rating
official
doesn't.
road races.
It's not the Bible. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you an accurate. Always give you an accurate picture of the person you're racing. And yeah, just it's always amazing to me. Like I don't know if you guys are members of them, but I'm members of a few Facebook iRacing groups. I see y'all post them every once in a while, but those are the most toxic places I think I've ever seen on the freaking internet.
Oh hell yeah,
Yeah, they are.
Hell yeah.
And like it's just and the fucking whose fault was it? It doesn't fucking matter. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just like
I mean,
it's like somebody comes down and completely like fucking like you right reared a dude on the front straight. It's like, oh, he came up into me. It's like, no, he fucking didn't, bro. Like
Yeah.
I love reading the comments on that because the
Yeah.
guy gets ripped to shreds.
the one that pisses me
Yes.
off is you'll get the guys or ladies that are new to iRacing, like
Mhm.
rookies, and they ask a question
Oh,
that
they get attacked.
it's brutal.
Sporting code,
Yeah,
sporting
it's
code.
fucking brutal. It's like you guys are just a bunch of assholes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we
I
were
will
all there
say-
once.
Yeah, I will say what's funny is that when you see somebody they're just posting to show what this dumbass did, and like this guy cut a whole turn and wiped the guy out on the other side, but the guy who sent in the replay had the driving line on. So like
Right.
every single comment was, "You deserved it for having the driving light on."
or what will happen is they'll be talking all this shit about another driver, and then you go in and look at their I rating and
stats,
safety
yeah.
rating. They're like 500 in I rating, and it's like, yeah,
And-
that's why you're having problems.
And you
with
always will have that one asshole that goes and screenshots that shit and puts it right on that
Oh,
fucking
yes.
post. Like,
Oh yeah, every
like,
time.
I think you're the problem, buddy.
Okay, I trolled a little bit on one post the other day because this guy was like, oh, he put up a video of Tyler Reddick going out and testing it with Wilkesboro. He's like, this is how you warm your brakes up. You don't have to do that weaving shit. The guy's literally
I
weaving
saw
back
that.
and
I
forth.
commented
Yeah,
on
I saw
too.
that.
I commented on it. I put the Simpsons meme of old man yells at cloud because it's like, what are you mad about? Like
I said,
and-
I told him, I said, I spent 2 different training classes with iRacing Coca-Cola Series champion who works for VRS that does NASCAR or does telemetry from iRacing, and clearly can
and
show us.
2311.
Yes,
Yeah.
now as an engineer at 2311, and he says absolutely that both running your brake, giving some brake, and the swerving gives you the heat in the tire to have a faster takeoff speed.
He got taken out by somebody who was weaving uncontrollably, and he was pissed about it. That's all it happened.
Yeah.
But like, and one guy was on there. He's like, I'm pretty sure the whole tire model built into this sim is friction equals heat. Therefore, when you weave back and forth, it
I read
shoots
that too.
friction, which warms your tires up. So yes, it absolutely does do something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's just, and I'll be the first one to tell you, there are ones out there that just do it to look cool, and they look like idiots, and they swerve fucking wall to wall.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
dude, all you have to do is one way to the other, one way to the. You don't have to shake the whole car, and
Right.
it's just.
I just do it because I'm bored in the
It's just,
in the
it's
pace
just like
laps.
anything else. There are people who know what the fuck they're doing and why they're doing it. And there are others that are just doing it to look cool.
I do it 104.85 in my Camaro if I'm sitting in traffic. To be honest with you, if I'm barely moving along, I'm swerving that shit back and forth, just bored.
Yeah.
It's like
It's like the kids when you get into rookie races and they sit there and they just start boom, boom, boom. And you're sitting in the pit road.
I do.
That-
What are you
yeah.
accomplishing?
The best
cracks
thing
me
that
up.
ever happened, best thing that I ever saw happen was a guy right as soon as they turned us loose, he blew his fucking engine up. It was like, ah, ah.
I hear
going back to
that in
the
our
Sim-
league.
Going back to the Simpsons, that was.
No, I hear
Okay.
that in our league. It's like everybody, we'll be sitting there waiting to grid, and there's guys run, run, run. I'm like, what are you doing?
I don't even crank my car until they tell us
I
us
don't
how to
either.
put it. Yeah, like, and even when I do, I just crank it and let it idle.
I think there's a
Is-
lot of guys that just don't have a button mapped for their
Mhm.
ignition and,
Yeah.
and for their starter. So they just it's running already. So they're just sitting there revving the shit out. It's like, what are you? what are you accomplishing? First of all, you're a guy that's gonna be pitting a lap before me,
Mhm.
and you're the
You're
guy that's
fuel.
starting to. Do you not realize that? I mean, if I don't know if they do or not in iRacing, but their models are pretty damn close to realism. So a hotter engine is not nearly as fast as a cold engine.
Correct.
It's not
If it
making as
starts-
much power.
and
So
you
if
lose-
that matters
You
in the
start
sim, I don't
overheating, you
know.
lose power.
And if you watch
Yes.
it and you start your engine and watch your fuel consumption, it does go down when you're sitting.
It
on
absolutely
pit road
does.
idling.
And your temperature goes up.
Mm-hmm.
So
And-
I when I'm trying to save fuel, like under caution, I'm not just clutching it. I'm killing the
Shut it
motor
off.
completely.
Yeah.
I kill it completely to keep my clutch in, and then I'll turn it back on so that I have power. And then when I'm ready to get the engine started again, I just drop my clutch.
Yeah.
And that's what
right?
they do. That's what they do in real life. You just cut
Yeah,
the
and-
ignition off, cut it back on, and then just
Save
coast
a
for however
lot of-
long. And you pop the clutch, and it'll cut back on.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
save so much more fuel than the guys who are just clutching it under caution. Now under green flag, I'll clutch it. Like if I really need to save, I'll clutch it through the turns. While going at speed.
Yeah, at speed I won't shut
without
it off.
killing the
but-
motor.
I've
Right.
never been able to make that work. The clutch.
It's
clutch,
harder than it
it's hard.
sounds.
It is very
because
hard.
sounds
you're
like
relying
it's-
on your brake. You're
Yeah,
relying on braking
yeah,
a lot more.
you don't have the engine to slow you down. Also, the car handles completely different when it's not under engine braking.
Mhm.
So you have to be
Yeah.
ready for that too. That's something that you almost have to practice for. But
Yep.
And you have to do it in a way where you're not giving up too much time. You have to know your situation really well.
Yeah.
In that thing there. But
I know what's wrong
on
with
that-
it. She ain't got no fuel in it.
Ain't got no gas in it.
all right, guys. Well, I think we need to put a wrap on this. I enjoyed you guys'
Well-
topics and what grinds your gears and everything like that. And
My name is Hillbilly, and I'm here tonight to assure you people gonna rock the. Oh, different kind of rap. Never mind.
yeah, we're okay. We're definitely done on that note. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for us. It helps us out tremendously. This is a time I'm going to reserve. Anybody who wants to shout out their channel, I am the Hanging Chad on Twitch. That's the with 2 E's. Hillbilly. Twitch is-
My Twitch, which I'm not using as much anymore, is Hillbilly_Stomp. But on YouTube, you can get me at GamerTube Elite on YouTube, putting up content nearly every day if I can.
Dave, I believe you are D.
D.
Lorfano.
Lorfano on Twitch. I don't do YouTube because it pisses me off the last couple of times I tried it.
All right, Josh, I don't believe you have any streaming channels, so we'll move on.
I have Twitch, but I'm never on it. But it's Het69.
Okay, so Josh
Who's the
doesn't
her?
matter.
Juggles doesn't
Juggles-
stream much either.
Juggles is Juggles88, but he's never on.
Yeah.
All American Racing League on YouTube. You can check out some cool videos there. We may
And
have
on
some stuff
Facebook.
coming in the upcoming season.
And on Facebook.
Facebook.com, All American Racing League.
The Mule
Hillbilly
Barn
Motorsports on Facebook. The Mule Barn here on Spotify. I'll
and
wait.
on,
You're
on
already here.
YouTube.
And
On
we got,
YouTube.
We got some clips, some gaming clips up on there right now.
Yep.
Oh shit, we didn't even discuss it, but folks at home that have been listening in for a while, the Jackass Nation horror games. We found a new one that we kind of play, and I believe Dave says it's the scariest game he's played thus far.
I don't like it.
Called Demonologist, and it is fucking creepy. But you can go to our
do,
different handles that you just heard and check us out.
I'll work on getting some
Yes.
clips up from my stream, throw it up on the Mule Barn on YouTube.
Yep, I'll do the same. I'm in the midst of making my own YouTube channel to also share stuff to the GamerTube Elite YouTube as well, and we're trying to build ourselves this little mecca of content creation here, and you guys are along for the ride. So we appreciate you guys, whoever you may be, and be sure
We
to
know
tune
who they
in
are,
next week.
dude. It's Jackass Nation. What the fuck?
All right, guys. That is
Thanks
our
for
cue.
watching.
Jackass is telling us to get out of here. You guys have a good week.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.